Here are my first impressions after unboxing the brand new M1 iMac. I've been using this as my main computer and I just want to share how I feel about it and some of the things that I've noticed, both positive and negative. The actual review is coming a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. Timestamps are down below and let's get started. Previously, I was using a monitor that couldn't really move around, and when this came and it could move so easily, I gotta admit, I was a little bit skeptical. But then there were instances where the maneuverability was actually really useful, and I kind of like the fact that I can just turn it whenever I need to. And next up is the screen. This screen is actually insane. Like, Apple has always been known for having really good screens, especially with the Retina displays, but like, this screen gets extremely bright. I usually never have it on full brightness at all, and it's amazing. And just like the screen being nuts, so is the camera. The camera quality on this iMac is insane. I've FaceTimed my brother, and like literally the first thing that he told me was just how clear the camera is. It's nuts. I've even tried it in low light and it still manages to correctly expose my face. It's awesome. In complete contrast, the Magic Mouse is absolute dog shit. Like, really, I have no idea how you are intended to use this for long periods of time. It's not ergonomic, it's not comfortable to use, it's actually not even that useful. I find that the gestures don't even work half the time. This mouse. Hayden. Unlike the mouse, the keyboard is actually very nice. It is a little bit shallow as I'm coming from the chiclet style keyboard in the MacBook Pro, but overall I've had a really nice typing experience, and I'll definitely let you guys know about that in a future dedicated video. I'm just saying, I broke my typing record at 121 words per minute, so it's a good keyboard. And like I said in the unboxing, the chin doesn't actually bother me that much. I think it keeps that nice iconic look, and maybe if they just shrunk it a little bit, like it's really big, maybe if they just shrunk a little bit, you know, you could get the best of both worlds, where it's iconic, but it's modern. And the last external thing that I've noticed is the thinness. This computer is extremely thin, and that's impressive, but once you have it set up, I don't notice it and I don't really care, honestly. It's one of those things where you don't remember or care that it's thin. You just happen to see it sometimes and you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. And now comes my first impressions of the M1 chip. And I've got to say that everything on this computer feels snappy and extremely fast. Waiting is something that you pretty much don't do, and that's amazing. I edited the entire unboxing video and managed to export it in less than 10 minutes, which is something that I cannot say for my 2015 MacBook Pro. But although M1 has been great so far and all the numbers check out for it to be exponentially better than the previous computers like the 2015 MacBook Pro, it doesn't actually feel like that. Like, it's definitely better, but not this crazy dramatic thing that where you're like, oh my god, this computer now feels slow and M1 is insanely fast. It's not necessarily like that. It's just a nice little speed boost. I'll definitely have to do more testing of that because I could be wrong, but as of right now, my 2015 MacBook Pro doesn't seem that bad compared to M1. But after getting this computer, there are some things that I need to warn you guys about. Now, I don't know if this was an issue with me or the way that I did it, but basically there were a lot of issues when transferring over my files. Firstly, Safari just straight up did not want to work. Like, I couldn't open it. It said that there were administrative problems even though I'm the only user of the computer, and I saw that this was happening online constantly with people that had M1 machines. Now, I was able to fix this because, well, when the computer came, it did have a software update, so I did that and then it was fixed, but I saw it a lot online, which means that some people had to deal with this way before a software update came out. Next up is the security features, because they were way more secure. Almost a little bit too secure. As you guys know, I use the Samsung T5 SSD, and just to get this thing working, I had to jump through so many different hoops just to open up the SSD. I had to go into recovery mode, disable protection, restart the computer, go and download the M1 version of this app, and then approve it. All of that just to look at an SSD. And of course, this may not sound like the end of the world, but if this is your workflow, that could be a big problem. Overall, my advice is this: make sure that everything that you have is backed up, make sure that you're up to date on the latest software, and make sure that you're using the M1 versions of whatever app it is, because it could save you a lot of time that I wasted thinking that it was different issues with, like, you know, my old computer or the Wi-Fi, or like literally anything, when really it was just these simple things. So those are my first impressions of the M1 iMac, and definitely let me know in the comments what other videos you want to see with it, and subscribe so you don't miss them.